Now, I tell y'all all the time that there are two types of Christianity in this country, one for the white people and then the version that they gave black people. One actually justifies superiority and hatred based on their word of God to say it is okay to be exactly how they are. And then there is a version that is given to us to be meek, to be long suffering, to pray for your enemy, to love all, to be giving, to be forgiving, all of that bullshit. So I want you to see for yourself, though, because again, I'm going to tell you seeing is believing. And I just want y'all to watch these pastors in the next few clips tell you about how things are when it comes to their perspective of black people as white Christian men.
Say that somebody was coming into our church and they're black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, they of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at, almost pretty much without exception, they excel at them. Black culture. You look at that culture and you say, what are the besetting sins and characteristics of it? And then you say, could somebody come in a lawful church membership embodying that culture? No, they have to self-consciously repudiate that culture.
Wait a minute now. See, I'm going to have to stop you right there in the name of the Lord, because I heard that the truth will set you free. And I want you to know that white people lead in sexual crimes. Every level of them. I don't need to name them all off. I'm sure you guys know what they are. You lead in assault and battery. You like to put your hands on people a lot, huh? You lead in burglaries, where you all up in people's houses and their private stuff. You are the leader by far in fraud cases. You are the biggest number of drug crime criminals, right? Whether you're using them, selling them, or moving them. You are also the biggest group of people with DUIs who get in your car and get drunk and just drive recklessly and not care about anybody else's life. And you are the biggest contributor to disorderly conduct. Oh yeah, and let's not forget arson. You definitely lead in burning some shit down. So I just want you to correct your congregation. I cannot allow you wholesome Christian people to live in lies, because that is of the devil. And so we need to have the truth to set us free. You are welcome, but carry on.
If you're a Christian white parent who loves the Lord and loves your children, that you need to have the talk. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children according to their maturity at the proper time, the appropriate time, and says, there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Yep.
Right? If there's someone who is black in our church, and they've been in our church, and we know them, and they love the Lord Jesus Christ, great. We're not talking about that person, right. But we're talking about when you go into a crowd of people. If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts. And it is actually a failure of your parental duty. White parents, please hear me. If you teach your children growing up, if you lie to them and say, all people and all races of people in our country are the same. They are not. You are actually depriving your child of factual, truthful information that could save their life.
Slavery never happened, then you would be in a grass hut.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we need reparations. Your reparations are that you get to live in America. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You get to have the Christian religion.
That's
live
right.
better than your ancestors.
The greatest
ever would've.
moment in history for any brown or black country is the moment that the white man's ships arrive on your shore.
Now, if that isn't enough, I want you to hear speeches and wording that was given by a man that sounds very similar to what you just heard from these pastors. He is held to be this amazing martyr for the Christian community, for the Republicans in this country. And they even got, our kids in the public school. Well, y'all kids, my kids is homeschooled. They got them doing homework assignments about their hero.
This is your homework?
Yeah.
What did the teacher say when he gave it to you?
She was sad.
She was sad?
Yeah. I can't read.
Okay.
Now let's see what this martyr and leader that everyone keeps upholding had to say about black people himself. I think that once you hear it, you will understand why in the clips that you just saw, at the bottom they were hashtag Charlie Kirk, because they are definitely his supporters.
You should be kissing the ground because you're right. You didn't come here by choice. But
why are
the
you
other,
telling me to?
Hold on, I'm telling you right now. You should be kissing the ground with gratitude because you're right. You are not in Africa, and you should be thankful you're not in Africa, that you're in the United States.
You brought the N-word up first. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No. You specifically said, name me an instance of the
No,
N-word.
I said black people can say things that white people can't say. Of course that's true.
But that's automatically implying that one word.
It's more than that. But let me just kind of build this out further.
What is it then?
There's a lot of things black people can say.
Explain it to me.
You want me to give you more examples of things? Yes. Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did. So what are you gonna do, cancel me?
I'm confused as to why white America is so concerned about black America instead of worrying about themselves.
Systemic fraud issue within the PP loan application in black America. Black people are much easier to be able to say that black individuals, despite being 13% of the American population, commit 55% of the murders. If most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want. So black individuals have much more intellectual public freedom than white people do. If a white person were to come up and say, black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually have
why would you
because it's true. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. The Civil Rights Act was a mistake. More cops should be around your neighborhood. Why do blacks have a broken family? White person were to come up and say, black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually
why would you
because it's true. When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Black America is worse than it has been
that
in the last
affected
80 years. What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them? Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial.
Making racist jokes.
Look, it's a comedian that was put up on stage. What do you expect? But I mean, man, can you take a joke?
You should be kissing the ground with gratitude because you're right. You are not in Africa, and you should be thankful you're not in Africa. Certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. It's now become a racial complaining day. BLM, and remember what BLM stands for: burn, loot, and murder.
Happy Juneteenth. It should not be a federal holiday.
Half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crime. They commit more murders. They commit more arsons. They commit more kidnappings. It's not a profiling when it comes to that. Blacks are far more likely to commit crimes than any other group. Black culture has collapsed the last 60 years. Systemic racism stuff is a bunch of rubbish. Instead, it's systemic bad choices.
Do you feel that systemic racism isn't real?
Of course not.
What do you feel about the black community receiving reparations?
I'm against that.
Can you clarify your definition of critical race theory?
Call everything racist till you control it.
And we decided to basically usher in the Civil Rights Act as a new anti-racist dogma, creed, and I find something fundamentally wrong with that.
What would you say is the biggest non-issue that people make out to be a massive issue?
Okay, great. So I would say, it's not a surprise what I would say, racism.
It's amazing how that man spews out such lies and says them with so much confidence like they were the truth. We are not 50% of the prison population, and we do not commit 55% of the murders in the whole United States. As I stated before, white people are the perpetrators of majority of all crimes. They are the highest perpetrators of them. And when it comes to murder, I won't have the conversation about the numbers of how many people are murdered by black or white people because, one, there's there's more than just black and white groups in this country. So let's account for everybody, one. And for two, until you give the credit to white men and white women, but mostly white men who sit in our government, and you make sure that they are held accountable for the murders of the experiments and vaccine that they use on the citizens in this country of all races and colors, right? Not just black people, but everybody. All of the poisonous food that they put on the shelves, all of the false flags like 9/11, all of the things like so-called natural disasters when they blew the levee and left the whole community in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina to die, or all of the lynchings that we see every month in the South still today in 2025 that's covered up and called suicides when we all know damn well they're not. Or things like the LA fires that your government caused and then they tried to tell you that it started in somebody's backyard. Or officers that are power hungry, and our FBI told us many times, many years ago, they already knew that white supremacy groups had infiltrated the police department, and they go around when they get off shift doing things like breaking into black people's houses, trying to take their lives, like the Goon Squad did in Rankin County to Michael and Eddie. See, Michael and Eddie only lived to tell the story. We don't know how many lives they took before they got caught. So once you correct and run those numbers up right, we can have that conversation. But I'm sure you're going to find, like every other crime in the United States of America, white people will be leading in that category too. Oh, but wait, because Charlie ain't done. He got even more that he need to say.
You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course, that's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies. That turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people.
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence? Or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily... No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Now, for any of y'all that want to look up at the screen and just read it, something Charlie couldn't seem to do, nor his followers, you will see why he is loud and wrong once again. Now, y'all, Charlie was an American. He is their hero. He was a good Christian in their eyes. But y'all got to remember, like, racism, hatred, and Christianity go together, and is more American than what they say, some fucking apple pie. Y'all better act like y'all know. And I'll see you on the next live or the next video. Y'all have a good night, except for the people that deserve to have a bad one.